every single one of us is a field that is both the observer, the observed, and the actor.
This is Federico Faggin, the man who invented the first commercial microprocessor.
This field does not exist in space and time. Space-time exists within these fields that we are, is us.
What he discovered will make you question everything. Your life, your body, even your very sense of self.
We are holographic.
What if everything you knew about reality is just the surface of something deeper?
They don't understand how this cell works as a totality. You know, we are instructed not to understand, and we are going through blinders. We don't understand.
Science teaches us to see only fragments, but the truth is far more unified and far more mysterious.
There is a deeper reality where the feelings and the fields exist, the meaning of information exists, and from that world, you have this world that is a classical world where you can get classical information, and we think that the only world that exists is this world. But this world we have constructed with our bodies.
Beyond the world we construct with our bodies, there's a realm we can't control, a universe that refuses to fit inside our old beliefs.
We don't want that world because you cannot control that world. So the problem now is a problem of power and control behind this desire to have a deterministic and reductionistic world, which is the materialist philosophy, which is it's time to abandon that because quantum physics already is saying that that doesn't work.
What if reality is much wilder than we ever imagined? Hearing him, you start to wonder if he's right. How much of what we call real have we never even seen?
From the inside, you get the outside, not vice versa. And science doesn't recognize the existence of the inside because consciousness is phenomenon of the brain. The brain makes the decision that informs your consciousness. We don't know what it is, but it doesn't have any causal power, so who cares? Once people are convinced that we are conscious, that we are fields, that when the body dies, we don't die.
From within, the inside gives rise to the outside, not the other way around. Science struggles to acknowledge the inner realm because consciousness is something phenomenal, beyond mere physical processes. The brain may influence decisions, but it does not hold causal power over consciousness itself. Once we realize that we are fields of awareness, that consciousness transcends the body. We understand that death is not an end. The body ceases, but the field, the true self, persists beyond.
Once you understand that consciousness is beyond matter, beyond this space and time, we already know that we can explore this world by going out of body with our consciousness. And millions of people that go out of body explores other realities. Consciousness is the tool for knowing, infinitely more powerful than any instrument that we have ever built. We build billions of dollars of instruments to find out what the particles, are doing, but consciousness is far, far richer. So we basically, then we can begin to explore the universe, the invisible universe.
When we talk about what we see, we must remember that the visible world is only a tiny sliver of a vast electromagnetic spectrum. Our eyes perceive just a narrow band of wavelengths, roughly from violet at about 380 nanometers to red near 700 nanometers. This narrow window is what we call visible light, the colors of the rainbow, the world as our senses paint it for us. But beyond this slender band lies an ocean of unseen waves, infrared, ultraviolet, radio waves, X-rays, energies flowing through the universe that our bodies cannot detect. Our perception is limited, a filtered reality constructed by the body. The colors we see, the reds, greens, blues, are not inherent in the world, but arise from how quantum fields interact with light at these specific wavelengths. The qualia, the vivid experience of color and shape, exist not in the body, but in the field itself. So what we call reality is a projection, a holographic interplay of fields and waves, with consciousness as the ultimate observer, reaching far beyond what our eyes can reveal. Federico's about to explain what happens after we die. That line,
We are instructed not to understand.
stuck with me. So I jumped into Ground News to see how even a single story can be told two different ways. Bear with me. Here's what I found, and it's pretty telling. Look at these two takes on the same event. Jeremy Renner opens up about near-death snowplow accident. I was brought back, and I was so pissed off. A center-leaning outlet known for in-depth reporting, highlighting his anger and shock. Avengers actor describes the peace he felt during his near-death experience. An independent publication focusing on the calm, almost spiritual side of his story. Ground News lines up all 36 sources, side-by-side headlines, ownership tags, rigorous fact checks, and political lean indicators, and even gives you instant summaries with the Insights by Ground AI panel. That's how you see every angle before you decide what's real. But let's shift to another near-death story making the rounds. One outlet turns it into a full-blown thriller. I heard cracking, blares the headline, all horror and adrenaline, as if the crash is the whole story. Yet another source treats it as a straightforward human account. Witness describes near-death experience after tree crash, focusing on the person, not the pandemonium. And over on a science site, the angle shifts again, exploring what that split-second moment reveals about our brain's survival instincts, not just the fall itself. And that's the thing with Ground News. You can jump between multiple takes on the same event, from tabloid drama to sober reporting to academic analysis, so you never get stuck in just one version of the truth. If you want that clarity, head to ground.news/advice. You'll get 40% off the Vantage plan. Links in the description, pinned comment, and on screen now. Okay, back to the real question. What really happens after we die?
What happens when we die?
We don't go anywhere because we never were in the body. It's the body that dies. We don't die.
But something changes, right? So because the satiety...
The satiety that... See, a portion of the satiety called ego is the portion of the satiety that thinks to be the body. When the body... And so it looks at the information that the body provides about what? About this other world seen through the body. So our senses, our brain, takes information from here, but a most small part of information. I mean, just the visual thing that we see, is this narrow band, right? I mean, if I had cell phones instead of eyes, I would actually now be able to listen in to the 30,000 conversations that are going on that are here. They're all here. But I only see this band. There is no, there is no communication in this band. There are other stuff, and we see this world. We construct it with the body. The output of the body, which is in the cells, is quantum. That quantum output is what the fields perceive as color, shapes, sounds, and so on. The qualia do not exist in the body. They exist in the field, and the qualia are representable with quantum state. Quantum state is how the quantum field translates this information in the cells, which is, I call it live information. It's a type of information that has not been studied at all, not even imagined at all, which is in between quantum information and classical information. It is the stuff that makes the cell work. Because if you take an electron is matter, energy, and information. Can you separate these three in an electron? It's elementary particles. There you go.
Think of it this way. Our consciousness is like a radio tuned to a specific frequency. The body, with its senses, acts as the tuner, allowing us to experience a particular channel of reality. But the air is alive with countless other frequencies, other channels passing through us, unnoticed. simply because we lack the instruments to perceive them. So when the body, the tuner, stops working, does the signal disappear? Or does consciousness simply lose its connection to this particular frequency, remaining present but no longer limited by the narrow band of sensory experience? This is where Federico's perspective offers a profound shift. He invites us to imagine that our true self, our awareness, was never truly inside the body to begin with. The body was just a temporary receiver, a lens through which consciousness could explore a certain slice of existence. When the body's signals fade, consciousness is not extinguished, it is released, free to experience reality in a new and perhaps more expansive way. Let's listen as Federico explores this idea, challenging us to rethink the boundaries of perception, identity, and what it means to truly exist.
Explain this by saying, imagine that you control a drone. We are a body, controls a drone. So now the drone looks at that reality where it is, sends me information, and I get the conscious experience of what the drone is seeing. That conscious experience is not in my body, is in my consciousness. And based on that, and based on my free will, I'll tell the drone what to do. The drone doesn't know anything. Now, take this image. Oh, and when somebody
shoots it down,
shoot it down, you were so focused on that drone that you only saw what the drone was seeing because you were piloting it and you were concentrated. Then, when the drone doesn't send you on its own, you look around and you say, "Oh my God, there is another world here." You see?
Yeah.
That's the same thing. The ego, when the body dies, it doesn't look at the signals of the body anymore, and it looks around and says, "Oh shit! Wow! Look at this."
At the heart of modern physics lies a profound truth. Particles, like electrons, are not isolated permanent entities. Instead, they're transient states of underlying fields, ripples appearing and disappearing in a vast dynamic ocean of energy. This challenges our everyday intuition, which sees particles as solid, unchanging building blocks of reality. From this perspective, what we call matter is more like a dance of energy patterns, constantly shifting and evolving. The particle is simply the footprint of a particular state within the field, amplified enough for us to detect in our classical world. This understanding forces us to reconsider the nature of existence itself. If the fundamental constituents of reality are not fixed objects, but fluid states of fields, then the boundaries between self and other, inside and outside, become less clear-cut. Federico's reflections invite us to look beyond the surface, to see what we experience as solid and separate is actually part of a continuous, interconnected whole. The ego, the sense of being confined to a body, is just a temporary perspective within this vast field.
A particle, like an electron, doesn't exist separate from the fields. It's a state of the field. From physics point of view, ontology is in the field, is not in the particles, because the particles, are integral to the field, so they come and they go. If a particle existed, it wouldn't disappear, right? But an electron can appear and disappear. But it is a state of a field that appears or disappears. There is nothing more. There is no particle. But physicists, the particle physicists, but I see the particles. No, you don't see the particles. You see the effect of the states of the field on this classical world. And then you see something, but that is not a particle. That is the effect of something that was amplified in a huge number of times to give you what you call a particle.
For decades, the quest to understand consciousness has been one of the most elusive challenges in science and philosophy. Many have tried to reduce it to mathematical formulas, hoping to capture the essence of awareness within equations and algorithms. But what if this approach is fundamentally limited? Mathematics, as powerful as it is itself a creation of consciousness, a language born from our inner experience to describe the outer world. trying to explain consciousness purely through mathematics is like trying to see the eye with a microscope attached to the eye itself. This realization turns our understanding upside down. Instead of seeing consciousness as a byproduct of physical processes, we begin to see it as the foundation from which all else arises. The physical world, with its particles and forces, may emerge from the deeper reality of conscious experience.
It took me 30 years to figure out that mathematics is created by consciousness, and therefore I cannot explain consciousness with mathematics. And I realized that I was trying to do the same because I was taught that way. I had to turn it around. Again, turn it around.
It's much like what we see in medicine. Students are trained to follow established protocols, to specialize, to focus narrowly on what they've been taught. This prepares them to practice, but it can also create blinders, making it difficult to see beyond the boundaries of accepted knowledge. In science too, many breakthroughs don't come from simply following the textbook. They often arise when someone's personal experience, or a puzzling experiment, refuses to fit within the classical framework. These moments force us to question the rules, to look for meaning where the standard models fall short. Federico's own journey reflects this. After decades of trying to explain consciousness with mathematics, because that's what he was taught, he realized he had to turn his understanding inside out. Mathematics, after all, is a creation of consciousness, not its source. Sometimes, truly new understanding only comes when we step outside what we've been told and dare to see with fresh eyes.
You cannot explain it. How can you explain consciousness with math when it's consciousness that created math? When can you explain free will with something that doesn't have free will? You see, it's foolish to think that, that you can explain, more with less. And today we talk about emergent properties. We explain everything with emergentism. What does it mean, emergentism? How can you get more with less? You cannot.
Quantum physics has opened new doors in our quest to understand consciousness, suggesting that the mind may not be confined to classical physical processes alone. Some theories propose that consciousness arises from quantum phenomena within the brain, while others see mind and matter as two aspects of a deeper, unified reality. This challenges the traditional materialist view that consciousness is merely a byproduct of neurons firing. Instead, consciousness might be fundamental, woven into the very fabric of the quantum fields that underlie all existence. Yet, these ideas remain controversial and complex. The brain may act as a receiver or interface, interacting with a mental field that transcends ordinary space and time. Quantum entanglement, coherence, and wave resonance could help explain the rapid, unified processing of information that classical neuroscience struggles to account for. Such perspectives invite us to rethink free will, identity, and the nature of reality itself. If consciousness is indeed a fundamental field, then our experience is not limited to the physical body or brain. It suggests a profound interconnectedness, where mind and matter emerge together from a deeper quantum ground. This view does not just blur the lines between science and spirituality, it offers a new framework for exploring the mysteries of existence, consciousness, and what it truly means to be alive.
We are quantum fields. What we feel within can be represented by quantum information. But what we feel goes beyond the representation. The representation is mathematics, is the map. What we feel is the territory, is what we feel is only within the field. That's how we know. The meaning is within us, is within the field, is not in the information.
We often think of knowledge as something external, facts and formulas to be memorized, data to be collected, but the deepest truths are not found in information alone. They are felt, lived, and known from within. Mathematics and science give us powerful representations of reality, but they are maps, not the territory itself. What we feel inside, the richness of a color, the warmth of love, the presence of meaning, cannot be fully captured by equations or words. These experiences arise from the quantum fields of our own being, from a place where information becomes alive and meaningful. This is where the journey turns inward. The meaning we seek is not out there, waiting to be discovered by instruments or theories. It is within us, in the field of consciousness itself. The territory is our own inner landscape, and only by exploring it directly can we come to know what is truly real. Federico's insight reminds us, the map is useful, but it is not the experience. The ultimate reality is not something we can measure or define. It is something we are.
I mean, I was there. I had taken the same courses, I learned the same physics, and if I did not have this experience that told me that I'm more, I couldn't be here saying these things. So, if it's bullshit, it will be found to be bullshit. But don't say there is bullshit just because you don't want to even think about it. And that's the problem today.